Maybe you need a champ to help make your teams far more survivable in all areas of the game, particularly PvE content. If you're struggling, this champion could definitely help you out. What's up, everybody? I am Felra, sailing the seas of Raid Shadow Legends, here to tell you about one of my favorite epic protecting support champions in the game. No regrets building this guy out. He is awesome, super simple, but super effective. Good all around. Dungeons, even the more end game dungeons like Phantom Shogun, Hydra, Faction Wars, Doom Tower, Curse City. This dude has it all. He can even nuke in addition to support. It's going to be my guy, Duedan the Runic. I seem to have stolen his gloves for something. Well, we'll find some gloves. You want to know a secret? You can get Corrado for free, as well as Fane, Ugo, and Vergus right now. Here's exactly how to do it. Log out of Plarium Play and uninstall. Use the link in the description below to start a brand new Raid Shadow Legends account. Log in, complete the tutorial, and you'll find Corrado Fox Hunter in your inbox afterwards. As you level up, you'll also get Fane, Ugo, and Vergus. So don't wait. Use that link and start a brand new account right now. What does he do? Why is he so good? His A1 attacks one enemy, has a 50% chance of removing one random debuff from all allies. Damage is based on HP, so that books to a 60% chance. So basically, every time he A1s, he is going to have a 60% chance to cleanse a debuff from your entire team. Now, the rest of his kit is built so that he A1s a ton, which means almost entirely he reduces the need for a cleanser on your team in an epic champion on an A1 alone. His A2, Protector Effigy, on a 4-turn cooldown, attacks all enemies, places a shield buff on all enemies for 2 turns equal to 15% of this this champion's max HP, increases the duration of all buffs on all allies by 1 turn. This skill has a lot. The only downside here is that it should probably be a 3-turn cooldown for where the game is currently, but I mean, he's a Sylvan Watcher and he looks kind of epic, which in my mind makes up for it somehow. I don't know, I can't explain that, but you know, a little bit of a shield is really good, and increasing the duration of all buffs on all allies by 1 turn, he can be your buff extender. You can use this in Hydra to keep buffs like Taunt up. I think you can extend Taunt. I'm not sure, but I know you can extend counterattack. So for things like Clan Boss, right, Chimera, anywhere that you need a counterattack extended, you can extend it using Duedan the Runic. He'll also extend his own shield, so it's actually a 3-turn shield. And again, he is HP based, so that 15% of his max HP is going to go a decent way. Again, it depends on how much HP you actually build him with, but this skill is actually super good. Again, my only gripe with it is that it's on a 4-turn cooldown instead of a 3-turn cooldown, especially, you know, if it's going to be a 2-turn shield. 3-turn shield, I guess. I don't know. Anyways, the A3 here places a taunt buff on this champion for 1 turn, also places a 25% strengthen buff and a counterattack buff on this champion for 2 turns. That's on a 3-turn cooldown when fully booked. 5-turn cooldown is a bit much, but this cooldown is perfect. Strengthen, counterattack. You're going to go ahead and you're going to buff up. Then you're going to go ahead and place a shield and extend those buffs that you just placed, including the counterattack, which every time he gets hit, he's going to A1, which cleanses your team. That's how this guy works. He used to be a lot stronger for Hydra because of Taunt. While Taunt was up, your champs couldn't be eaten by the Hydra. So when they nerfed Taunt in Hydra, it kind of took away from his value, but he's still a fantastic protecting champion, fantastic support champion, pretty much everywhere in the game. Let's talk about like a relic. So a relic for this guy, honestly, I'm not sure there's a good one. I'm not sure there's a good one specifically for him. There might be one that's just like a stat stick. I don't really have a good relic right now, and honestly, I'd redo his masteries a little bit. I would want to pick up Deterrence. I'd want to pick up Retribution as well, although he may not need them if that counterattack gets 100% buff uptime, which it should. It really should. So, you know, Lore of Steel, pick up Lasting Gifts is going to be really good as well. Went down, grabbed War Master. War Master is going to be really good because he's going to be A1ing all the time, so extra War Master damage. Of course, he's got an AoE, so AoE War Master damage. As far as sets go, I would think that you would build him in. Yeah, I went and I tried to go for protection. I'm not sure if I have any protection gloves that'll work on him. We'll take a look here. We'll take a look. I need a speed substat for sure. That's flat HP. That's not. I don't even know why I kept those. No, we're not gonna be able to. Not gonna be able to do that. Let's see. We want probably HP percentage. We want a speed substat. What do we have here? We've got a speed piece. That's okay. Did that roll the highest? Yeah, it did. All right, so we're gonna throw that on him. We're also going to throw. I did put some resistance on him so that he can resistance tank. So my build for him, he's got 459 resistance, which should be enough for most areas of the game. And the reason that he is so good with resistance is because of this cleanse. You want him to be able to cycle through his skills all the time in order to be able to get the maximum value from him. So let's talk about the stats. So 60k HP. This is really low. Like super low as far as HP is concerned. You want that to be 100k HP. We're missing 40k HP. That's not good. 2.2k defense is also low. I'd probably want 2.8 to 3k defense for this guy if I was doing a build where I was just going to use him everywhere. However, you know, these stats are a little more realistic if you get this guy super early on. 243 speed, again, I think is slow, but you might think this guy is fast if you're super early game. And 459 resistance, I like a little bit of resistance on this guy so that he can be a bit more of a tank for us. Where should you use this guy? Well, couple ideas. So the first one is you can use him in Phantom Shogun. The reason you can use him in Phantom Shogun is because the boss will debuff your entire team with Enfeeble. So the way you can do this is you can build him with the most crit damage on the entire team. You're going to need to prioritize crit damage on him and nothing else. There's not really a downside to that, except you might be sacrificing other stats, right? The boss will primarily target him if he has the highest crit damage, which means he'll get the A1 off more, which means he will cleanse the Enfeeble, the drop defense, whatever else the Shogun is debuffing you with his A1. So that is probably the most popular use for Duedan the Runic currently. He can, of course, help you in Dragon as well. The Dragon also puts a lot of debuffs. On hard mode, he places 4 poisons and a weaken. I think on normal mode, he places 2 poisons and a weaken. Well, let's check real quick. Yeah, 2 poisons and a weaken. So, you know, if you throw your Duedan the Runic into your Dragon team, you're not only getting that extra protection, but you're also going to get those cleanses off more. I wouldn't recommend him for Spider's Den, just because he doesn't do a lot of damage. Damage blitz teams are usually better in Spider's Den. If you're on normal mode, it would be using HP burn. And if you're on hard mode, I would recommend using Hex and enemy max HP damage. Not going to do you a lot of good in Sand Devil or Ice Golem either. But those are some... The 2 dungeons he'll probably be best in are going to be Dragon's Lair and Shogun. I could also say he might be good in Fire Knight as well if you're on normal mode. I wouldn't use him in hard mode, but on normal mode, he definitely could help you clear stage 20. If you can't prevent the Fire Knight from getting a turn, he's got a counter attack. That'll help cleanse some of the decreased speed as well, because the boss places a decreased speed debuff. So that could help you as well. But I'd honestly rather use someone like a Skull Crusher who has an AoE counter attack in their kit. With Faction Wars, wow, actually Sylvan Watcher's Faction Wars is open now. Am I using him? Manipulate skill cooldowns 10 times. No, well, I have the Podregs, right? I have the Podregs. Let's slot him in here. We want the A3 to be the opener here. I'm not going to bother 3-starring this stage. I'm just going to go ahead and 2-star it. We've got a lot of healing. We've got a lot of protection. We've got a lot of support. Duedan is just going to add to this. He also gets a shield from Podreg every single time a Podreg takes a turn, which is going to be really good. And he's going to get even more ally attacks off because of, more A1s off because of the ally attacks from the Grand Oak Podreg. Of course, Caldor, of course, being the star of the show here. No question about it there. Caldor is amazing and awesome, and I really like him. But Duedan is going to be giving us some good protection. I will say he's a bit slow for Faction Wars hard, but he's fine for Faction Wars normal. You know, I think he's a super solid epic. He's definitely going to help you if you have limited options as far as epic protectors are concerned. He's super solid in the cleansing regard, super solid in the shielding regard. As you can see, he's cycling through his skills. We're already back to that counterattack, back to that taunt, which is really good. One thing you might consider is throwing him in Merciless, and Merciless will just help him because he's A1ing so much. Merciless is going to help him get back to the lure of fools and the shield, and if your team like in Hydra really relies on the shield, Merciless could be a great option to get that cooldown reduced. Once you have a Mithrala, you shouldn't need his shield as much in Hydra anymore, but you never know, and you never know how he's going to be useful on your account. So it's probably, man, that Ugo with the block damage is so annoying. It is so annoying. What are we at? 4 out of 10. Oh dear, that is that is really not good. But you know, the Padres should be able to pull it off there. One thing you might want to consider for Duedan the Runic, a good relic that just sprang into my mind here is the Orb of Transfixion. Now, the Orb of Transfixion has a chance of removing or stealing buffs when the user weak hits. Because he's going to be, you know, A1ing and he's got that AoE, he's not always going to be good affinity. So one thing you might want to consider, especially for these faction wars or these PvE waves where, you know, they're getting buffs like that Ugo is, might want to consider using an Orb of Transfixion because he's going to probably put out the most hits on your team, and then you can steal some of those buffs or at least remove some of those buffs so that they're far less annoying on the enemy team. There we go, 635 from Calidor there. That is absolutely awesome. But anyways, guys, let me know your thoughts, what epic protectors you use or what champions carried you through the early game in the comments below. I've been Felris, sailing the seas of Raid Shadow Legends, and I'll see you in another video.